Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Manning Field for what was supposed to be Game 3 here today. We just finished up the Lynn City Tournament, the opening rounds, boys and girls. We'll have the championship and consolation on Saturday. So we're supposed to be 3 games here tonight. And the first game, English against Malden. Rich Avery got a call at 2:30. Malden saying, we're not coming because it's raining. I never heard that before because Tech girls and Notre Dame girls just played in the rain, and now classical girls against Chelsea are also playing in the rain. Anna Flaherty in net for classical. Katie Arias for Chelsea. Classical looking to go 2-0. They won their first game in the city tournament. First game of the season for Chelsea. And the first game for classical starting out a full GBL season. And they try to push it out in front, and Arias comes out and picks it off. Classical had a good rush, and Arias was able to scoop it up and kick it away. And it still baffles me. It used to be the home team, but now the visitors wear white, or the light colors. Classical wears their green, which I'm not crazy about because you can't pick out the numbers on their backs. This is Mannion with the ball. Pushed it a little too far. Classical picks off the pass. They block it and they get it back. And then Chelsea breaks up Waterman. Classical got a big 7-0 win over Lynn Tech. And Classical took it easy. They didn't try to score in the last 10 minutes or so. They just played keep away, trying to run the clock out. And things turned around drastically for Tech as they came just before this game. They played Notre Dame, and they put 6 on the board. Helen Polcher getting 4 of them, and they got their first win in their second game of the season. After being shut out, they put 7 on the board. Classical coming back, trying to center it. They're out front. They tipped it, and it went wide. They had 3 bodies out in front of the net. That was a great centering pass. I think that was Thurman down the near side that threw it right out in front. And Classical was there to tip it, but it went wide. So they came very close to getting on the board very early. Thurman knocks it away again. Mannion with it. Knocks it down the near side. A little too far. I think she's trying to get it to Thurman again. Classical hustles and gets it. And actually got a shot off. They went between 2 defenders and tipped it off the side of the net out of play. That was a great hustle by Classical. I think that was Medeiros. Who took it away. Classical coming back, walking in, walk right in, and they score. They had like 4 on 1, and they just banged it home. That might have been Maggie Nerrick banging that home. So they had a few almost chances, and then they got a real good one. Hack went up and get the classical player on the arm, and Chelsea will get the free kick. So classical taking charge here in the early going. They've kept it in the Chelsea end. They had a couple of near misses, and then they get the first goal. And that was all before we played 5 minutes. Thurman gets a piece of it. Mannion skipped past her. Now she gets it ahead, it skips past Thurman as well. Thurman takes it away. Coming down the near side. Gets it by again. Takes the shot. Just missed going under the top crossbar. It just went over the top crossbar. Great bid by Ava Thurman. Anybody who follows Lynn sports for any length of time surely knows the name Thurman. Tip. Classical trying to walk in. They're trying to push her away. It popped loose. Still loose. Chelsea finally gets control and knocks it away. That'd give coaches gray hair. That was rolling all over the place. Nobody could get a foot on it. Give both coaches gray hair because both teams had a chance to get a foot on it, one to knock it in, one to knock it away. Classical almost increased their lead. Classical keeping the pressure on. They finally get it out near midfield. Broken up by Chelsea. Broken up again. That goes out off Chelsea. Mannion will put it in play very quickly. Again, Thurman coming down the near side. Gets around. Gets around again. Throws it right out in front. Perfect pass by Thurman, and the rebound is knocked home. What a perfect pass by Thurman. I think that was Mateo. Just chipped it in off the great pass by Thurman. Oh, all that pressure pays off again as they jump out 2-0. They push it ahead. Classical again. Coming down. Slipping it out in front. And it went off the foot. Carried it away. They line up the shot. Dead center, but too much foot. Went over the top of the net. Classical dominating here in the early going. 10 minutes in. It's been all Classical. The ball hasn't gone past midfield. Glasgow played in the Greater Boston League last year, this past season. That ended just a short time ago, but it was only for a shortened season. So this is their first full-fledged move into the GBL for a full season. Hopefully it'll be a full season. That dreaded disease won't knock anybody down or games down or shut everything down. Broken up. Yeah, we got a. They thought they had a whistle, but that was a whistle from up in the stands, I think. Everybody kind of hesitated, almost gave Classical a breakaway. Oh, Classical will get the corner kick. Coming from the near side. They get it out in front, and it's knocked home. Another perfect shot from the corner, and I think that was Mannion. They bring her down to the defenseman, but they bring her down for the corner kick, and it was Victoria Medeiros. But a perfect corner kick. That might have been Thurman again, getting it right out in the middle and sitting right on the doorstep was Medeiros to get a head on it and knock it in. And here comes Classical again. Trying to walk in, lining up the shot, just missed wide left. That was Waterman with the left-footed kick. She beat a couple of defenders and lined it up and just missed sticking it in that far post. Classical just dominating Chelsea here. And here they come again. Walking in, they couldn't get a lot on it. That was Medeiros again. She was in close. She just couldn't drill it. All she did was just get a little touch, and it went. The goaltender, Arias, was able to make the save. But Classical with another opportunity. Mike Shannon, the coach, must be saying, if I drew it up on the board, we couldn't have a better start than we're having now. Chelsea's trying to let it go out. It finally does. And Chelsea will get to kick it away. Thurman from down deep. Throws it across. It wound up on the top of the net. Didn't quite hook it enough to get it back out in front. Chelsea will kick it away. And they sliced it, knocked it, shanked it over to the right. It was going out of play. Classical was going to get it. And luckily for Chelsea, Classical kicked it out. So they get another opportunity. They just kicked that right to the right. It didn't go anywhere near out in front, just went almost behind the kicker. Haskell picks it off. Haskell takes it away. Pass just too far. And would-be shooter breaking in from the left side, but pass just too far out in front, went out of play. Arias will kick it away. Now it'll be the defenseman kicking it away. Haskell knocks it loose. Tracking it down to the near side. Kicking around one, kicking around another. They left it for Mannion. It slides by, rolled in on by everybody. I think Glasgow had two players there. They won't surprise people in the house that it went by everybody and they were wide open for a shot, but they never expected the ball to get to them. So it wound up going out. Now it winds up with Glasgow knocking it out. Yeah, with just under 25 minutes left in the big first half for Glasgow, we're going to time out down the field. Back to soccer as they come out. Chelsea's trying to find some way of loosening their offense. They haven't got, all they've been doing is sitting back on their heels trying to keep Glasgow from scoring. I have Glasgow scoring 3. The scoreboard has Glasgow scoring 2. So, being the old man of the group, my eyesight must be going. How they turned around. Looked like Glasgow was going to get a kick. Now it's going to be it looked like Glasgow was going to get a kick from the 10-yard line. Now they give it back to Chelsea to kick it away from their own net. I don't know what that call was. But they can't get it too far, and it's just leaving Glasgow with great opportunities. Now they knock it away. That's all Chelsea's been doing. They've been just trying to get in front of the net and block Glasgow from getting a shot on net. It rolled right by. Glasgow broken up. Chelsea can't clear it. And Glasgow again just keeping it in. Glasgow pushes it past the 50-yard line. They give it back. They're going to let Flaherty get involved in the game. It skips over everybody. A break for Glasgow coming down the near side. Trying to walk in. Good job by Arias, the goaltender, as she come out and slid in front. Correnti was all by herself and got pushed just too far ahead. Arias is able to come out and smother it, knock it out before Correnti could get a shot on that one-on-one. Haskell trying to knock it in front, got a little bit too much foot on it. They bang it off Glasgow. Trying to center it, it banged off Glasgow again. Now it rolls to the far corner. Glasgow still controlling. Blocked. Blocked again. Glasgow keeps it alive, and it's going to go out of play now. Off to the left. Chelsea will be able to kick it away. Chelsea's going to knock it out. Throw in coming from the near side. He just barely kept it in, and then Chelsea knocks it out. So it's a corner kick coming up. Another one for Glasgow. Coming from the near side. Right out in front, they got a foot on it. Deflected it wide. And they got a rebound, and they kicked it wide. They tried to get the shot on net. It got deflected right out in front. Glasgow was there, and they knocked it wide. They had an open net. Halfway through and counting this first half. They get it to the net. Chelsea blocks it, trying to kick it away. They can't kick it too far. They're keeping it right in the area where Glasgow has a shot like that to get a shot on net or to get it out in front of the net. Chelsea's the only time the ball has crossed midfield is when Glasgow knocked it by there. Chelsea hasn't had anything even remotely looking like offense. They've been sitting back on their heels, just trying to keep Glasgow off the board. Glasgow's beating them to every loose ball. They're getting scoring opportunities. We haven't even had a throw-in in the Glasgow end, never mind a potential score. They give it back to Mannion, skipped over her foot. Trying to walk in. Takes the shot. It was going to go inside the near post. Arias made the save. Mannion with a nice little rush, pushed it by a couple of defenders. Got a good shot off. Looked like it was going to go inside the near post. And Arias was able to hold the post and make the save. It's just a shooting gallery for Glasgow. They just keeping in the end. Let's try to get shots on net. Now they got another corner kick coming. This one coming from the far side. We missed on the first goal. We thought it was somebody other than it was. We gypped Delaney Dana. Her father, the baseball coach at St. Mary's, will be all over me. They get the shot off, it goes wide. It was Delaney Dana that scored the first goal. She's a multi-sport athlete at Glasgow. We were right on the last two. Mateo and Medeiros. And then Medeiros almost got another one. Yet another corner kick. This one goes off the side of the net. Haskell's getting a lot of practice for their corner kicks. These kicks for Chelsea haven't gone. If they get to the 20-yard line, it's a long kick for them, which puts Classical right back in the swing of things. That one only got to the 15-yard line. Luckily, Classical had it and lost it. But here they are again, right back, trying to walk in. They get it over to the near side, trying to walk in. And just before Correnti could get a shot off, Chelsea knocked it out of play. And here we go with another corner kick. I thought it was coming from the near side. Now it is. The would-be kicker was walking away. They drill it out in front, off a body, off a couple of bodies, blocked again, blocked yet again. Somebody finally gets a foot on it and knocks it away. That was almost like a 9-cushion billiard. Everybody in the front of the net got a foot on it. Classical trying to knock it in, Chelsea trying to knock it away. Chelsea finally knocked it away. And out to the 40-yard line. This is the furthest it's been in a long time. Out to the Chelsea 40-yard line. They tip it to the middle. Classical knocks it right back. They get around the defense, trying to walk in, taken away from behind by the defense, and they spin, trying to make the shot. As they turned around to shoot it, they knocked it wide. I think that was Parker. Chelsea knocks it away. And battling with Chelsea, I think Classical knocked that one out. Tipped ahead. Classical trying to walk in. They walked right in. They made the pass. They did the right thing. They passed it across, but it bounced a little bit too high, and all they could do was just touch it, and Arias was able to make the save. They had the right idea. They got right out in front. They could have taken the shot. They had a teammate wide open. They pushed it across, but when they did, it took a little bit of a high bounce. This will be the first time that Flaherty has touched it, except when the team gave it back to her to kick away. That was Chelsea kicking it deep, and now Flaherty kicks it out. Throw in coming from Chelsea. Parker got away with a two-handed shove. She was trying to knock Chelsea off the ball. They knock it deep, looking for a break, trying to beat the defense. Parker walks around, takes the shot. It just missed. She made two great plays, got around the defense, lined it up, drilled it, and watched it just sneak inches by the far post. Great bid by Gianna Parker. She's only a freshman. It's official now. Everybody's back in school. Early when they played the first couple of days of at least the first day of the city tournament, only the freshmen were in school. They made a great addition at English High School with those added on classrooms that they put in the parking lot. Being familiar with the janitors, they gave me a trip around. I was able to go inside, and I was maybe the first person inside there, looking around the classrooms, the full restrooms. They need them because English is going to be up close to 2,000 students. "10 minutes and counting left in this first half. Knock loose. Chelsea trying to knock it away. Down. They kick it deep. It goes all the way through to Arias. And she'll pick it off and she'll kick it away. Is it knocked back? Classical with it. The lead. And they call Classical offside. They made the right pass, breaking to the middle, but the would-be pass catcher stepped in front of the defender, and she was already there when the ball was passed. So Chelsea will kick it away. Randy Grahal is the head guy for Chelsea. We mentioned Mike Shenna. Certainly happy the way his team has played the first game and a half, winning the first game of the City Series and then getting out very quickly and jumping out to a 3-0 lead here, even though the scoreboard still says 2-0. So I apologize to Delaney Dana for not getting her scoring that first goal. They do the same thing. Every time they score, everybody surrounds the goal scorer, and you lose sight of them as they come back upfield, and they all look the same, basically. Arias gets that. He's trying to send it out in front. There was a classical player sitting there waiting for it. Arias picked it off and boots it high, straight up in the air. Tipped around. They actually knock it back, and Classical picked it off. And Chelsea's able to clear it away. They just touch it. They didn't bother kicking it deep. They just touched it, but now it's cleared deep. And they kick it back to Flaherty so she can kick it away. It gets booted away by Bullock. Haskell walking in. Carenti got around the defense. She was sliding, got the shot off, got it off the side of the net. Chelsea will make a substitution. And Chelsea will get to kick it away. Glasgow picked it off. They're walking right in, and he just kind of tipped it toward the net. I think that was Parker again. He just knocked it right to Arias. She was all by herself. Here comes Glasgow again. They get around easily. They push it out in front, and they blow. I was wondering if they're going to blow the whistle. They had 4 green shirts out in front. They were way offside. Chelsea kicks it off the side of the foot, and it goes out of play. Out of play again. Down the far side, Glasgow gets it, keeps it in. They get around the defense, walking in. It got blocked. Arias finally falls on it. She recovered the fumble. She was in the middle of 3 or 4 players. The ball was bouncing around. She finally fell on like she was recovering a fumble and boots it away. She's had a very busy time in net in this first half, as opposed to Flaherty, who could have bought a ticket for this one. Pops straight up in the air. Takes a very big bounce. And I think they called Glasgow offside. She stepped around the defender and got out in front. They almost gave that one away. Almost bounced over the defender, and Parker was right there to take advantage if it did. And again, they're only kicking the ball about 10 yards, if that. And it just keeps the ball deep in Chelsea territory. Bouncing around. Everybody trying to get control of it. The shot finally pops up and goes wide right, out of play. And Chelsea will get to kick it away, but they can't get it past their 20-yard line. If they get it to the 20-yard line, it's big. Final 2 minutes of this first half, all Glasgow. They pop it up again. They break it up. Glasgow walking in. They take the shot and they knock it home. Chelsea gave it away. Classical took advantage. That was Correnti. So they gave that one away. Correnti walked in, and again, Arias come out to try and cut down the angle, and he knocked it into the far corner again. Classical hustles and keeps it in. Time winding down. Walking in. Chelsea breaks it up. We're waiting for the whistle to end this half. Chelsea finally knocks it into the Classical end, and Flaherty has to come and get it and knock it away. Classical keeps it in play. Breaking down again. Trying to make the pass. Pushed it too far, it goes out of play. And we should be getting a whistle from the official very quickly. Arias will kick it away. They knock it loose. Knocked to midfield. Classical knocks it away. It's a very long 2 minutes. Certainly for Chelsea. They pop it straight up in the air. They head it away. And it's going to go out of play. And now they finally blow the whistle. That's going to do it. So a big half for Classical. They put 4 on the board. 4 different scorers. Looking for their second win. They're halfway there. At halftime, Classical 4, Chelsea nothing. Welcome back to Manning Field. The scoreboard is finally caught up. It says 4-0, which is the correct score. It was 3-0. 2-0 for a long time. Four different scores for Classical. Delaney Dana. Jada Mateo off a nice pass from Ava Thurman. Victoria Medeiros and Eliza Correnti as we're underway in the second half. And Chelsea almost got the ball over midfield. The only time it's got there is Classical cleared it, or Chelsea knocked it out of their zone into the Classical zone. Flaherty's only touched the ball twice, and that was coming out almost near midfield. I believe this could be Lauren Wilson now in net. Chelsea will kick it away, and this has been their sore spot. Like there, they just kicked a ground ball and didn't get it close, and Classical winds up getting a shot on net, and Arias has to make a save. That's been the whole thing. They can't clear it away from their end of the field and get anything closely resembling an offense. And I mentioned before, they've just been sitting back on their heels, playing defense and trying to keep Glasgow off the board, but they haven't been able to do it. Glasgow's just been buzzing all over the Chelsea end. But just nice job by Chelsea there getting in there, and that's the deepest they've got it in Glasgow, and they carried it in. But I got to give them credit. You're watching them play. It's not from lack of effort. They're working at it. Glasgow's just beating to the punch. And again, this is the first game of the season, so I don't know if they had any scrimmages or what kind of practice. It might be the first time playing on a full-length soccer field. Usually don't practice on it. You may have a full field to practice on, but you usually don't do it. You usually use like half the field and run different things like the football teams, unless you're scrimmaging. But I think, again, the most important product, they're out there playing, and they're working at it. Shot almost deflected in. A very nice rush by Delaney Dana. Down the left side, got the shot, put it on net. Arias made the save. Luckily, she was holding the post because it almost deflected in. Glasgow will get another corner kick coming from the near side. But again, it's just good to see the kids out there. They don't have to wear a mask. Good to see the kids full-time in school. Football coming up. We'll have football games here tomorrow night. And we're starting what will hopefully be a full season. It won't be like the abbreviated seasons we just had where we were compounding playing football at the same time teams were playing baseball and basketball, football and hockey were all being played at the same time. English Classical Thanksgiving game played in July. Classical shot blocked out in front nicely by the defense. I think that was Ashley Mejia Puzzle, who made that save block. Did the nice job. Another corner kick yet again. Out in front, deflected away. Shot blocked. They have to clear it back. Shot from long range, blocked again. Glasgow keeping it in. It skips past Glasgow. Glasgow's able to keep it in. Chelsea broke it up. Knocked it out. Glasgow with the quick throw in. Stuck down in the corner. Trying to throw it in front. Blocked. And knocked away. Glasgow just content to keep it in. Getting around the defense. They throw it out in front. And trying to reach for it. Had to reach too far. It slipped and lost it. Went down. Coming right back. And here's Chelsea knocking it out. Quickly they throw it in. Trying to throw it in front. They had a couple of Glasgow players breaking, but Arias picked it off before they could get it to him. And they got that kick out. Arias got that kick out a little deeper than they were normally getting it. But Glasgow just content to just get it right back in. And push it down the far side. Getting around the defense. Trying to walk in. They slide it out in front, and they hit the top of the post. Great pass out in front. They got it right out in front. They lined up a perfect shot. And then Delaney's shot goes wide. They lined up that perfect shot out in front and hit the top crossbar. And that might have been Bullock. Perfect pass coming in right out in front. One timed it and just lifted enough to get the top crossbar and have it bounce out. Chelsea takes it away in the classical end. But very quickly it comes back to the Chelsea end. They knock it deep. And again, walking in. And the shot goes wide left. They had a couple of people out in front. They could have thrown it across. They looked for the shot and just pushed it wide left. Haskell takes it right back. Again, they get around the defense. They made a home down in that far corner. Throwing it out in front. The defense, Chelsea gets a piece and knocks it out. And Classical again gets to practice their corner kicks. Coming from the far side. Little decent crowd here with the weather. A lot of umbrellas up. Rain has been fairly steady all through the game. There's a line shot that Arias got a good look at and made the save. I think that was Nerrick with the shot. All the way back to the classical end, and very quickly they get it out of there. Knocking it deep. Delaney has to hustle. She gets there, does a nice job of keeping it in, but she couldn't control it. Now she takes it back, pushes it out in front. It got tipped, and it hit the post and bounced out. Great job by Delaney to save it, take it away, throw it out in front. And sitting right there was Medeiros looking for her second goal. She tipped it by Arias. It went by, and it hit the post and bounced out. Can't get any closer than that. Out in front, that went, I don't know if that hit Medeiros on the head. She was out in front alone, but it sailed either one overhead or touched her going by, and it deflected out. Chelsea will put it in play. Delaney breaks it up again. Gets it by, looking to go get it. She gets knocked down. One of the Chelsea players helps her up. Arias will get to kick it away. That went in. That went in the net and banged out. It hit like the back pipe. They tried to play it like it hit the post or something, but that went in. That's a goal. No, they're not giving it to him. That went in. They don't try to kick it deep. They just try to kick it as a defender over to the left. Haskell just takes it away. That looked like it went in the net, hit one of the pipes behind the net, the back part of the net, and just deflected right out. That one goes behind the net and out of play. Arias again will get to kick it away as Chelsea makes a couple of substitutions. Skips by everybody. Popped up. Glasgow trying to control. It skips past again. Glasgow coming down that far side. Trying to walk in. Takes the shot out in front. Skips by everybody. And then trying to get a foot on it. Tip it home. They tipped it wide and out of play. That was either Medeiros or Delaney again. That was Delaney. Glasgow with it again. Knocked loose, but right to Glasgow. Delaney has to track it down. Broken up. Delaney gets it back, walks around, trying to throw it in front. It's loose. Chelsea can't clear it. Now they finally clear it away. And Glasgow knocks it right back. So Chelsea's not trying to get upfield and score goals. They're trying just to kick the ball away and not let Glasgow score goals. Glasgow well on their way to going 2-0. And getting ready for their big game Saturday against the St. Mary's girls in the City Series Tournament Championship Final. They get around, going down that far side again, walk around again, get it out in front, and they chipped and missed the shot, and then they chipped the shot wide. They had two openings, they missed it. It came back to Medeiros, looking for her second goal, and then she chipped it wide of the far post. Glasgow's had all kinds of opportunities. Delaney beats the defense coming down. Trying to throw it in front. And rather than kick it upfield, the defense just knocks it out, and Glasgow will get a corner kick. Hey, they couldn't get it in. Defense doubled up. He blocked it, knocked it out. Glasgow with another corner kick. Goes off the side of the net, out of play. We'll have substitutions for both teams. So again, Mike Shannon's got to be very happy about his first two games. He's getting a lot of players' feet wet. He's getting playing time for a lot of his young players. His team's playing very well. They're moving the ball around. They're taking advantage of what they're given. Aries tried to come out and block the shot. She gave it away. And she couldn't get back in time. I think that was Waterman. Breaks the ice in the second half. And the score amounts to 5-0. Arias had it kicked it away, put it right on Waterman, and Waterman coming to the net. Arias again went out to try and challenge her, and Waterman just drilled it by her. That net is like the Grand Canyon. You've got to cover an awful lot of ground. Out off Classical, right in front of the Classical bench. He's been just enough to be a pain in the neck. It's a very fine spray. Well, Classical was way offside. I was waiting for them to blow the whistle. They made the nice pass. They looked up and moved the ball well, but she was way behind the defense. They gave it away. Now they try to break it up. Classical walking in. Arias comes out and gets there first. They almost gave that one away. Coming down the far side, on the near side, excuse me. Trying to kick it out in front. Hustling, breaking up the play. That was Nerrick with the defensive play. Nerrick is a midfielder, but she's kind of playing back on defense, as is Correnti. Correnti got a goal. She's a midfielder, but they also play her back, and they're playing her back so they can play a lot more people up front. Now the pass is too far ahead, and it goes out of play. And again, we'll have substitutions. Ooh, whistle a couple of times. Now they get back in play. Classical again, trying to throw it in front. Blocked by Chelsea, and yet again a corner kick for Classical. They certainly get a lot of work on their corner kicks. Like I mentioned, has sat a lot of the players down. That went in the net. Up and right in the middle. That looked like Waterman again. Right in the middle. She got a head on it. And she's going to go out. She gets her second goal. That was a perfect corner kick, right dead center. Waterman in the middle of everybody. Got up and knocked it home. And Classical jumps on top 6-0. Couldn't place that corner kick any better. Waterman was virtually almost in the net when she got her head on it, and just it deflected off her into the net that she was virtually standing in. So 5 different scorers. The long range shot goes wide. That was off the foot of Fatiana Lazo, a young freshman. So Mike Shannon getting a look at his younger kids, and they're performing very well. Just past the halfway mark of this second half. And we got a collision, contact. Chelsea is called. And it will be Waterman taking the kick. She put it right on the net, but it was a little bit high. The most difficult part for us up here is to pick out who's scoring goals, and the numbers, they're really hard to read, the numbers. And now I'm looking at some of the classical kids they're still in green, but some of them are in green and gold, some of them are in green and white. So I imagine some of the JV players, they've got a big squad. And he dresses a lot of kids. And some of them are probably JV players that are getting some action here. Because you might be able to pick out on your screen the different uniforms. And basically it's the sleeve, the arms and around the neck. On a couple of it's gold, on others it's white. They kick it back. They finally get it back. Lauren Wilson's finally going to touch the ball here in the second half. One of the few times Chelsea's going to get a throw-in from deep in the classical end. They haven't been this close the entire game. They knocked it even closer. And Wilson comes out and feels it. Wilson, multi-sport athlete, she had a good year with the basketball team in that abbreviated season. Glasgow takes it right back. They get around the defense, looking to walk in. Arias comes out to block it, and they knock it home, and they celebrate, because I think that might be one of the JV players. I think that was Fatiana Lazo. I'm pretty sure. It's hard to read her number because her hairpiece comes all the way down her back. I'm trying to look at it again. The entire team celebrated her. She's one of those with the white neckline as opposed to the gold neckline, so I'm guessing she's a JV player. Picking up her first goal. And I'm pretty sure it's Lazo. And now I know it is. Tatiana Lazo. So Glasgow got 4 in the first half. They've got 3 here in the second half. And they played everybody. So we know we got her. As I mentioned before, I gave the 2 goals to Waterman. I hope I was correct. I don't want to take anything away from anybody. But it's very difficult to pick up the numbers, even when they're right down in front of us. But, you know, it's not like the football team where they wear a big 85 on their back and in the front. especially with classical, the green jersey and the number kind of mingles in with the jersey. They don't put a big white number on that. They put a green and gold number, and it just melts in. If I'm correct, that those white sleeves and neckline are the JVs, their jerseys are easier to pick up because they got white numbers on their backs. Still not easy, but easier. And when you're as old as I am, you don't see as good as you used to. This will be winding down the 3 full days of soccer. We had actually 5 games Tuesday and Wednesday because Kip got a big win here as well, a home win for Kip. We had the 4 City Series games. We would have had 3 games here tonight, but the Malden boys team didn't show up because of the rain. They called and said they weren't coming. And this will end it until the big day on Saturday for the championship rounds of the City Series, along with the 2 consolation rounds. And even then, there'll be a football game Saturday night. There's 2 football games here tomorrow night. So this place will be jumping just about 24/7. They've got flag football for the young kids. They've got a older group of men that come out and play soccer here on Sunday night. They've got an older flag football league that plays here. So when you look at this, they've got 10 soccer teams, 5 football teams, the Pup Warner team, a little older football team. They've got the flag football they started for the young kids. So they've got stuff going here all the time. And then we've got Fisher College playing games and running the tryouts and practices over at Fraser. So Rich Avery, who is the curator of these 2 places and does an outstanding job, is got his hands filled with everything that's going on. So if there's a game that's not played here, awful hard to find a spot to put it back in after you make up all the schedules for all the teams. Classical has matched their score when they open up in the City Series. They beat Tech 7-0. Now they're leading Chelsea 7-0. This will be, as I mentioned again, they played briefly in the GBL. There was last year when there was no state tournaments, and even with the football team, some of the GBL football teams didn't play because English and Classical only played like 4 games. I think Everett, whose football games I do as well, they only played 4 games, even though there's 8 teams in the league. Some of the teams didn't want to play or didn't want to play that many games, didn't want to play 7 or 8 games. So it was a very abbreviated schedule. St. Mary's got to play a lot of games, especially girls basketball, because they played some of their league games twice. They played home and away, and then they played a 3rd matchup to try and play more games because they weren't under the same rules as English Classical. Tech didn't get to play a basketball season because by the time Lynn got out of the red zone, they were able to play. Their league had already finished up because some of the other leagues were able to play because they weren't in a red zone. As I mentioned before, we wound up playing, Classical's soccer schedule was just beginning as Tech's soccer schedule was ending. The football team was playing while there were baseball games going on with Tech and St. Mary's. The hockey team was playing while everybody was playing. the Lynn Jets. So it was a rather unusual, brief season. It came to pass with baseball and softball where they were able to have state tournament games. And St. Mary's was able to win 2 in a row, state championships. They didn't get to defend it last year. And after a year hiatus, they came back and won it again. With a very young team, they'll be a threat again this year. And so abbreviated as it was still nice. People wearing masks, but it was nice, even though they weren't going full-time school. St. Mary's did. English Classical Tech didn't. But they were still able to play some games, get out, do what they love to do. And now we're hoping they can do it full-time and do it normally full-time. This is Classical. I don't think Classical is trying to score. They did this against Tech, leading 7-0. They call Classical offside. And they just kind of were running out the clock. I think that's what they're trying to do here. And again, tip of the hat to Mike Shenner. There are coaches who, a couple of years ago, Coach Woods of Bishop Fenwick, on Thanksgiving Eve, ran up a huge score against St. Mary's because he was upset at Classical, that St. Mary's didn't play all their players because they were going to a Super Bowl. And he had kids on the bench that didn't play in the game with a huge score. And I thought that was very unsportsmanlike. But then you got Coach Shenner here, sitting players down, playing JV players, playing everybody on the roster, trying to keep the score down, trying not to embarrass the other team. So there are some coaches that deserve to be coaching. There are some coaches who should not be coaching. Again, deepest it's been in the Classical end. Classical knocks it out. It'll be here again. Throw in for Chelsea. The only question left is, will Chelsea get a shot on net or will they score? Because they haven't done either. But again, give them credit. They're working hard. They haven't said we quit. If they shut the scoreboard off, you wouldn't know what the score was the way the two teams are playing. You would probably know that Classical was winning, but you wouldn't know the score and you wouldn't know how big a score because Chelsea is still working hard. They're still going at it. Arias has played well in net. They're still pushing at it, trying to get it done. And Coach Randy Grahal should be proud of his kids. Games like this, it's very easy to quit, say, we're not getting it done, who cares? But they're not. They're working at it. They really are. Mannion gets loose and then gives the ball back. Classical looks like they're going to go at the net, try to score, and then they just push it back upfield. This is what they did against Lynn Tech, leading 7-0. Mike Shannon just, as I said, just doesn't want to embarrass anybody. It's difficult. I mean, they had a career goal scored by Fatiana Lazo. They were happy for that. But they're not looking to just take it too. And it lost off the foot of Mannion. Chelsea's going to go to 0-1. Haskell's going to go to 2-0. And you'll get ready to play in the City Series final against a good but very young St. Mary's girls team. So we had a good day for Lynn here at Manning Field. Tech girls got a big win, their first early on after losing in the City Series. They get back on the winning track, knocking off Notre Dame, shutting them out. Glasgow's going to get, looks like their second 7-0 shutout. And it'll be a 2-game win for Lynn here at Manning Field. And we're hoping it'll be a 2-win game tomorrow night in the football for St. Mary's and English. They knock it upfield. Blocked. They knock it deep to Mannion. Pop straight up. Couldn't control it. They knock it away to the far side. Glasgow knocks it out. Chelsea will get the throw in. Chelsea knocks it out. I'm sure some of those young players for Glasgow who are getting in the game, some of those, I hope I'm right, JV players, they would love to be getting shots on net, love to be getting their first goal like Fatiana Lazo did. But again, Mike Shen is saying, let's keep it down. Try to give it back to Mannion, it's going to go out of play. Off a foot, Glasgow controls. Broken up. Knocked away from Mannion. She knocks it all the way back. And I remember a little bit confused. I think I said the white neckline would be the JVs. I'm wrong. It's the gold, the green and the gold. It's the green and the white that are the varsity players, and the players with the green shirts with the gold neckline are the young players playing. I don't think they ever thought they'd play this much time. We're in the final 2 minutes and counting. Classical's going to make it 7-0 wins. I hope I was correct in those 2 goals because it's very difficult, as I said, to pick up the numbers. We don't have anybody announcing. There's nobody calling from the other side to the press box saying, here are the scorers, announce these. They just have somebody run the clock and put the score up. So sometimes you lose track of the number, or it's hard to figure it out because as soon as somebody scores, they surround them and you lose sight of them. And it's still, even then, it's hard to pick up the numbers even when you see them. So I hope I'm correct giving Waterman those 2 goals here in the second half. They blow the whistle, and that's going to do it. So back-to-back 7-0 wins for Classical. They get out very quickly. Anna Flaherty, along with Lauren Wilson, secure the shutout. Waterman, if I was correct, was the only multi-goal scorer, giving her 2. Delaney Dana got 1. Jada Mateo from a great pass from Thurman. Madeiros got 1. Correnti got 1. And then the first goal, everybody celebrated. Fatiana Lazo getting her first goal as a varsity player. That made it 7-0. That made Classical 2-0. And now they get ready to take on a good young St. Mary's team on Saturday afternoon in the Lynn City Series Championship Final. So Lynn has a big day. They get 2 wins here. They were supposed to play 3. 1 game was canceled, but they play 2 and they get 2 wins. Lynn Tech girls got it done with a shutout. And then Classical gets their second 7-0 shutout. Mike Shenna getting a lot of players some playing time. Get to look at his young players. I'm sure he liked what he saw. And they go 2-0 in the season. Chelsea would drop to 0-1. So Classical 7, Chelsea nothing. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm Don Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.